Hi guys, today I wanted to talk about makeup for the menopause. And while I'm sitting here, I'm absolutely burning up. So if you're like me and you're going through it at the moment, I wanted to share some tips and tricks about how to navigate and adapt your makeup. So I have got on all my skincare, and my menopause phase is dogged with sleepless nights. So I do have a little bit of under eye darkness. So I'm going to start off with an under eye corrector concealer. And this is one from Catrice, and I'm going in with that peach shade over there under the eye area. And this is just going to help brighten up or camouflage the dark circles that I have under my eyes and next to my nose. So I just put on a very, very light layer of this, and you'll see when I do put the concealer on, it just helps to neutralize the discoloration under my eyes. So now I'm going to go in with a little bit of concealer, and I'm going in with my Lancome Teint Idole, and I just use a little bit of this just to camouflage the corrector, and also just to make the skin tone look a little bit more even under my eye area. And I'm just going to pat that in with my fingers just to create a little bit of concealment. And I don't go in heavily. I don't really need to, but also my menopause makeup is all about less is more. So I have found that over the last couple of years or so, or the last year in particular, I have been veering towards very kind of light foundation coverage. And this is definitely the case while I'm going through menopause, but I do want makeup, but I want a light covering of makeup that is going to stay on my skin and it's not going to melt off after a couple of hours. So that's what this tutorial is all about. It's just helping or giving you some tips and ideas about how you can make your makeup work, because I certainly don't want to wear a lot of makeup when I'm going through hot flushes. It's probably the worst thing, but I do want something just to conceal my redness and even out my skin tone. I want a little bit of something on my eyes. So I do try and make the most of the little bit that I apply. So now before we go on to foundation, I'm going to apply a little bit of blush. So I do a little bit of underpainting with my blush and contour if I want to use contour. And as we go through the process, I'll tell you why. So I'm going to go in with a cream blush, and cream blush because it is really going to adhere to my skin before I put on my foundation. So I'm going in with this one from MAC, and this is in the shade Grand. And I'm just going to apply some of that to the cheek area. And I think today I'm going to apply a little bit of contour as well. So I've got my Catrice contour stick in the shade Medium, and I'm just going to apply a little bit of contour on my cheekbones. And again, I'm just going to blend that in. And this is just going to give us a little bit of color, but it's just adding an extra layer of product to the skin. So you'll see when we put on the foundation, we're going to add a little bit more blush, but this just helps, if your foundation does wear off throughout the day, it's not going to take all the color with it. So now going on to foundation, and I've got a couple here that I use. I've got a drugstore one, and this is the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear. And they do say that this is water resistant and it's transfer resistant. And I must say that it does have really good longevity, and it is very lightweight on the skin. Another foundation I can recommend is the classic Estee Lauder Double Wear, and this is definitely not cakey. You can apply medium coverage. It's bulletproof. It will last you all day. So this is a really, really good one. And then another one that I have is the MAC Studio Fix Fluid Foundation. I find that this has really good longevity as well. Today I'm going to go in with the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear. So I'm just going to shake it up a little bit, and then I'm just going to apply my normal pump to the skin. So just one pump of this I find is really sufficient. And I'm going to dot it all over the skin where I need coverage, so all over where we've applied the blush. And one pump really does do the job for me. So again, just keeping my makeup as light as possible. And now I'm going to take a foundation brush and I'm just going to blend this in all over the skin. So before we come back to the cheeks, I am going to do the eyes. And for these, I'm going to be using a cream eyeshadow, and this is the Revlon Colorstay Velour stick, and I find that this has really excellent staying power. And I'm also going to go in with the MAC gel liner in Skip the Waitlist, and I find that this also really stays on the eyes. So I'm going to start off with the Revlon eyeshadow stick, and I'm just going to apply it to the outer corner and a little bit onto the crease, because I do have hooded eyes, so I do want to add a shadow into the crease to minimize the hoodedness. But sometimes when you're sweating quite a bit, your powder eyeshadows might not necessarily have the longevity that you want. So I find that this one is really good for that. So I just add a little bit of it to the upper lid, and now I'm going to blend it out. So I'm taking a fluffy crease brush and I'm just going to use that to blend out this eyeshadow. So there, I've done both eyes. That was really quick and easy. And obviously when I am in the middle of a hot flash or feeling very sweaty, I don't really want to spend too long in front of the mirror. So this is not the time for really in-depth, complicated eye looks. I just want a smattering of makeup that's going to make me look presentable, that is going to carry me through a few meetings and throughout the day. So nothing complicated with the eyes. Now that I've done the upper eye, I'm going to go in onto the lower lid with the MAC gel liner. And I'm just going to apply a little bit of this just to give the lower lids some definition. And this one really does stay all day as well. So really recommend it if you are looking for that. And I'm going to take a little pencil brush and I'm just going to smooth that out. I'm just going to smudge it out a little bit. So I think just with this pencil and with the eyeshadow, the cream eyeshadow, they really have gone a long way to giving me a little bit more definition around the eye area so that I'm not looking tired. That's actually the main thing for me. Now, before we put on mascara, now I'm going to go back to the cheeks. So we've applied the cream blush. You can see it's just kind of peeking through. I want to apply a powder blush just to reinforce that color. So as your makeup, if it does kind of melt off throughout the day, you're going to be left with a little semblance of color on your cheek because you've kind of reinforced the cream shade that you put under your foundation. But before we do that, I am going to apply a little bit of powder, and I've got my Rimmel Stay Matte, and this is in the shade Translucent. And I do have combination skin to begin with, so I just like to add a little bit of this to just mattify the skin slightly. And I do take it with me in my handbag, and I do reapply, you know, if I am looking rather sweaty or my skin does get a little bit oily. So now I'm going to go on to the blush, and I'm taking this one from Wet n Wild. It's one of my all-time favorites. It's in the shade Pearlescent Pink. It does have a little bit of a sheen to it. It's not glittery at all. And obviously for a look like this, I'm not going to apply highlighter. A, because it's an extra step, and B, because I'm going to have plenty of highlighter coming through as I start perspiring throughout the day. So I really don't need to add anything in that department. So I'm just taking a little bit of this blush and I'm just going to pounce it on the cheek area, and this is just to give a little bit more depth to the blush color that we applied underneath the foundation. And for me, blush is the single biggest thing that can really wake up your face. So if you have had a bad night's sleep, blush and concealer are your friends. So they definitely are going to make you look awake and alive. And I think that's, we can't really ask for more than that while we're going through this phase, but we definitely want to look alive. So that is the blush done. Now I'm going to go on to mascara. I do use a couple that are, I don't use a waterproof mascara, but I do use ones that have a lot of longevity. The one that I'm really enjoying at the moment is this Lancome Idole. I really like this one because it does stay, and I find that it doesn't flake throughout the day and it doesn't smudge under my eye area either. So I'm going to go ahead and apply a couple of coats of this. That's the mascara done. I'm just going to brush through my eyebrows with an eyebrow spoolie. Really don't feel like the extra admin of putting in any brow pencil. It is one of those days. So just brushing them up. And now I'm going to apply a little bit of lipstick. And I'm going in with a nice happy pink shade. This is in the shade Breathless, and it's from Elizabeth Arden. So that is the finished look, but I do have two secret weapons, and the first one is a setting spray, and this is just going to help a little bit with the longevity of the makeup. And I like to use the Clarins Fix Makeup. So I'm going to go in with a spray of this all over the skin. And then my other secret weapon is a thermal water spray. At the moment I'm using one from Uriage. Avene has got them, a lot of different brands have got them. I think Bioderma might have one. And these are absolutely great. And what I would do is take a handbag version of this, so it does come in a dinky little size, and I carry it around with me in my handbag. And if I am having a little bit of a hot flush throughout the day, I just spritz myself down, and it really does make all the difference just to cool your body down a little bit. The mist is very, very fine, and they're just beautiful to have on hand. So guys, those are my tips for menopause makeup. Let me know what some of your tips are. What are the things that you do? How have you adapted your makeup to accommodate hot flushes and everything else in between? I'd love to hear from you. Please leave me a comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.